So something pretty spectacular happened yesterday. There was a release of new hardware. You guys know what hardware that is? Yeah, it is the Steam Deck. New Steam Deck. Okay. I have historically, in the past, not been the biggest fan of the Steam Deck. Not because there's anything wrong with the Steam Deck. No, not at all. Actually, quite the opposite. I think the Steam Deck is a really cool piece of machinery. It's just I never used it. You see, when I had the Steam Deck, I was pretty obsessed with the idea of me being a specific person online. I had to be the Nintendo guy. I had to only talk about Nintendo things, and it robbed me of my very, very experience with the Steam Deck. So I sold it. Now, I sold it at a pretty decent price, which I think ended up benefiting me in the long run because I was able to fund other things, but I sold it. And I haven't missed it up until these past couple of weeks because I have otherwise been very, very distracted with my own personal things and identity crisis. I'm just spending way too much time worrying about who I am on the internet. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been missing it, and with the my new intention on this in this space of playing video games however I want, whenever I want, and with the decision to build out a very, very good gaming PC setup, I realized the Steam Deck is my gateway to that very thing, and there's a new one. And so I'm going to talk about, this episode is dedicated to all the research that I did about the Steam Deck. Now, this isn't going to be short. If you want to watch a concise version, or I guess longer versions, there's 3 I would watch. Let me grind a little bit. What's up, Henry? How you doing, buddy? He's not drunk today. He actually is going to, I don't know what you would call it. Alcoholics Plant Anonymous? Fake alcohol? I don't know. He's not drinking. He decided no more drinking for him. Which is good because it was pretend alcohol, and pretend alcohol can get really expensive. It costs literally hundreds of millions of doubloons. Doubloons being fake currency. Who would have thought? But this guy he's doing well. Someone wrote a really funny comment. They said, should we be worried about what he's drinking? Because he obviously is drinking something. He's talking to a plant. Don't worry. I'm not drinking anything crazy. Just coffee. Come on, grind. The new Steam Deck. Steam Deck OLED. We see what you're doing, Valve. You took a naming structure and a naming scheme which was otherwise perfect from Nintendo, and you said, you know what? We like the naming structure. So we're going to just do what you did, and we're going to change just the name. Except we're going to do it better than you did. And we're going to change literally everything inside. And that is precisely what they did. Now, when Nintendo launched their OLED model, also known as the OLED model for some people who decide that that's the way that they want to call it. When they launched their OLED model, they changed the outer hardware, which is what we needed. We needed them to give us a better kickstand. There was internal storage upgrade, doubling it from 32 gigs to 64. You guys are very familiar with that. And so that's pretty much all they did. They really didn't change much, and they charged $50 more. What I've seen from Valve is something quite impressive. Like a booger or something? Got it. That is that they're not increasing the price. They're maintaining a very similar price structure. In fact, where's my phone? Nowhere near me? Nowhere near me. Okay, so I can't look at, I'll go get it. Price structure, breakdown. So we have $399 for the base model, which is a 256 gig. This is the LCD. We have $549 for the 512 model, which is going to have the OLED or the OLED panel, and $649 for the OLED, which has the same Wi-Fi 6E, and there's a price drop on the original. The 64 gig is going to be $350, and the 512, which was $650, is now $550 or $549. That's pretty substantial. There are some upgrades, Wi-Fi 5, so now it's Wi-Fi 6E, and I believe that the power supply is better. No, it's the same power supply, but the internal battery is better with it being a 50 watt hour. That's pretty big. That's a huge deal. They didn't just say, okay, we're going to, do what Nintendo did, and they released a new model and charged you more for it. Instead, they said, we're going to release the next model and charge you. I guess actually that makes the most sense when you think about it, because if we're looking at like how new hardware comes out, and this is a PC style thing, right? This is a pocket PC, a handheld PC, or at least that's what it's marketed as. And so it would make sense that the next version should cost very close to the same. I believe the 512 model, or the middle of the pack, was it the 256 model? Was the one that was, yeah, the 256 was $529, and it had the better SSD. So this is actually a much better deal to get the OLED. Now, but here's the thing. If you're someone who's like, I don't know, should I get the OLED or should I get the cheaper, standard Steam Deck? Honestly, I think that getting the cheaper standard Steam Deck might be a good play if you're trying to just like get your feet wet. Now, me personally, I'm going to be getting a new Steam Deck. This goes live November 16th. You're able to order yours. And I'm really excited to get back into it because I have such a bigger, more open mind to gaming. I'm playing Call of Duty now. I feel like I've grown up in the past couple of weeks. This is Cup 10, and in Cup 10, this is the Cup X. This is the Decade of Cups, whatever you want to call it. The Deca Cup. I am really excited, super stoked that this is exactly what it always should have been, which is an amalgamation of gaming. Everything, all gaming, everywhere, all the time. How can we do all of the gaming and see which is the most fun to play? No reviews here. Well, I mean, I'm going to review, but yeah. So, Steam Deck. The original purpose of the Steam Deck was to bring PC gaming to the console gamer, right? At least that's how I felt it was. And it did a very good job. In fact, it did the best job out of all of them. Now there is a bunch. They just came out with a new one, forgot the name of it. And, Wolf Den is reviewing it, as well as Beat 'em Ups, and all those guys are reviewing it. I'm not, because I don't get free copies, and I have a very limited budget. In fact, I'm going to be scraping pennies to get myself the Steam Deck again, so I can, explore everything it has to offer. But it makes sense for me because I need to increase the size of my Steam library so that when I eventually PC game, I'll have games to play on my PC. It'll be fun nonetheless. But all of these handheld PCs that exist do the same thing, or a similar thing. They bring PC gaming to the handheld experience, which is what we want. We want portable style gaming. We like that idea. And by we, I mean like gamers in general. It's fun. Oh, I need that. It's fun. And so I particularly am excited for the ability to do that again with a Steam Deck, but what the Steam Deck OLED brings to the table is something quite spectacular. It brings, first off, an OLED model. Now, let me tell you, we're still in Rwanda. This is the Verve, and this is right here, 10 grams of sugar, a little bit more sugar than last time because the last time could have used some sweetness, but this is still a different thing. And right here is 80 grams of milk. 10 grams of sugar and 80 grams of cold, delicious whole milk. Full fat whole milk. Very important. Always. Full fat whole milk. Skim milk is gross. Use my Vader spoon to mix it about. It is cold, so this will cool off my coffee, so it'll be drinkable right away. This is my cupping spoon. My special black cupping spoon. Super cool. I love it. And now let's pour off some and see how it tastes. If I ever bring guests on, I said in cup 9, I will make you a cup of coffee. Still a little warm. Delicious. Needs more body though, so I think that I would actually tighten up the grind to add milk. Anyway, let's get back into it. So the new Steam Deck OLED model has a few upgrades. Wi-Fi has increased, 6E. So you have a better wireless performance, which is cool because with the Steam Deck, what a lot of people would do is they would play their games over the internet, right? They would have a gaming PC and then they would, is it streaming? Would they stream it to the deck? I don't remember the name of that. Basically what the PlayStation Portal is trying to do with the PlayStation 5. So that's what they would do. And I was listening to Dave 2D, one of the three people, not Dave 2D, sorry, Tested. One of the three people I would listen to, Tested, forgot the gentleman's name, Dave 2D and Linus Tech Tips. Three great. Linus is going to give you the very, very techie version. Dave 2D is going to give you the in-between, and Tested is going to give you the consumer. So that covers your bases. And I'm going to give you the commentary of all of it, the thoughts from a average dad. Ow. It's hot still, 193 degrees. Whew. I'm very caffeinated because this is actually being recorded the same day that I had cup 9. Too much coffee. Continuing on. So when it comes to the performance of this, we're actually seeing an upgrade. Now, this was something that was discussed in the Tested video. They actually, and I'll link all three of them actually in the show notes below. I would appreciate if you finish this video, but I understand if you want to skip to those because they're going to give you all of the information. So he went and interviewed, I believe, the developers there, and when he talked to them, it is higher processing power. Now, the processor has increased in power because, and I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that it's 5-something to 6-something, because it actually grants better battery performance. Not necessarily because it is going to be utilizing that power to push better performance, though it can, but it's going to instead be utilizing, be more efficient in power delivery, which is great because the battery performance of the Steam Deck was abysmal. It was treacherous. I very much so did not like how I would turn the Steam Deck on, go to play a game, and then be like, I'm already at 50%. It's crazy how much the battery situation was sucky. Now, it's not saying that it's going to go from, I think it was like 2 to 7 hours. It's not going to go to like 5 to 15. No, it's going from 2 to 7 to like 3 to 12. But I would say that the difference between 2 hours of extended gameplay and 3 hours of extended gameplay are big. That is big. Because, or is big, are big, whatever. 2 to 3 seems like it's only an hour more. But I don't know about you, but if you have kids or a family, doing anything for a prolonged period of time is a challenge. And you can get an hour and a half to 2 hours, but 3 is pushing it. So the fact that you would be able to get into the 3s or get past 2, that's pretty big. And that is on the highest performance thing. Like, you're playing a game that's extremely demanding. Now, usually you're going to get somewhere in between that. And the guy from, gosh, I forgot his name, but the guy from Tested said he casts his super gaming PC to the Steam Deck and he's able to get almost 9 hours of gameplay, which is incredible. Now, what about the marketing material? OLED, 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 OLED. How much more? Well, I believe it's going from a 7-inch display, my phone right here, to a 7.4. 7.4 inch. Not tremendous. The external case of the thing, and this was tested by Linus in his video, is similar. They put a D-brand skin on it. It fits. They put a screen protector on, poorly at that, and it was funny. You should watch in this video. And it fits. Externally, we're good because the bezels decreased in size, not the display increasing in size. So you're going to get a little bit more display, the same square whatever. Now, this does come with all of the goodies that you got before, a case and stuff like that. It says we have exclusive virtual keyboard theme for the big 1 terabyte. Oh, that's another thing. We're going from 250, the base model, which was 64, I believe, to 256 for the LCD, but this LCD one comes, oh no, so it's still, the base model here is that middle of the pack one, which was $529. This is the one that I purchased with the 256 gig NVMe storage now, or SSD. Now, their entry-level OLED is $549, $550, which is a tremendous, it's a great price. It is $512 with the Wi-Fi 6E 50 watt-hour battery versus the 40 watt-hour battery. It comes with a carrying case and some profile. Now you can go all the way up to 1 terabyte, and there's 2 options there for America. One of them is limited to America and Canada, but the 1 terabyte option has Everything the same, except it's 1 terabyte. It also comes with some exclusive startup movie, exclusive virtual keyboard theme, and there is also a limited edition one which has a see-through case, which looks pretty cool. And I'm like, man, do I want to get the limited edition one? And this is the controversial topic. No for 2 reasons. Yes for many, and no for 2. And I will not be getting the limited edition one because of these 2 reasons. Reason number 1, I think that limited edition things are really cool and they always grab my attention because I want to have the limited edition thing. And I need to understand that marketing is going to rob me of every ounce of financial security that I'll ever have because I am a sucker for limited edition. For goodness sakes, I bought a second Switch that I didn't need to buy just for the limited edition. But though that is my internal, like, oh, you got to get the limited edition because it's limited coming at you, the real reason why I will not be getting the limited edition 1 terabyte internal storage one, and as well as the same reason why I won't get the non-limited edition 1 terabyte one, is because it comes with the anti-glare display. Some people like the anti-glare display. They don't want glare. They want to be able to play this anywhere that they please and not have any issues with glare. Totally understand, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against anti-glare. But the reason why I don't choose anti-glare is because no matter which way you slice it, and they show you in, was it Dave's? Dave 2D? I think it was Dave 2D. It might have been tested. No, it was Dave 2D. Dave 2D talks about it. He shows you that you will see a difference in color. The darker colors will be muted just enough for that vibrancy of OLED to be almost mitigated. And then on top of that, if you go to put a screen protector on there, that I guess would change that out. But what you're really paying for is the 512 upgraded to 1 terabyte with that anti-glare on there. And if you intend on putting screen protector, as I said, the anti-glare is effectively useless. So I personally think that financially, running 512, and it still has the micro SD card slot, and dropping a micro SD in there, Bob's your uncle, right? You're good to go. You'll increase your storage to 1 terabyte. I mean, I believe, let's look it up. 1 terabyte SSD card, I believe, not SSD, listen to me, SD card, I believe is very affordable, extremely affordable. Let's look it up. Amazon.com, 1 terabyte micro SD. Let's take a look, Ski-Poo. What are we looking at here? From SanDisk, $100. Okay. So, while it is affordable, it's probably going to be on sale for Black Friday. 512, let's say 512. You can increase it by 512 to get that 1 terabyte combination for $40 versus $100 for the 1 terabyte version. I just don't see the 1 terabyte version fully worth it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, but I don't see it fully worth it. Therefore, I am going to be getting just the standard 512 because the only difference is going to be that display and internal storage. And my internal storage will heavily be I mean, I have an additional micro SD that's 1 terabyte, so I'm set. Now, let's talk about what they did on the inside, because this is something that Nintendo didn't do. Nintendo didn't change the internals of their Nintendo Switch when they went from from LCD to OLED. It is still the same inside. But this guy, as I already mentioned, has increased its processing power for efficiency. And the board itself, as discussed by the developers in the tested video, is completely different. That's right. If you do any sort of internal modifications, if you've changed anything out from your current LCD version of the Steam Deck to the OLED version of the Steam Deck, you, my friends, will not be able to use that same hardware because everything has changed places. They do a full breakdown in all 3 of these videos. They open them up to show you them and what it looks like and how it's different. Of course, Linus is going to be the most technical, so if you're into that, I would say look at that. But breaking it down, we see that they did change everything inside to affect a few things. 1, better cooling. Better cooling means better sound. And Though it isn't technically done in these videos an extremely exhaustive sound decibel level thing, it is noticeably quiet. The Steam Deck as itself, the first version, was loud. I don't know if you guys know it or have it or have heard it, but it is loud. I don't think that was a big turnoff for me, but I certainly didn't like it. It's too loud. Not into it. This one's quieter. There's better cooling. In fact, when opened up, Linus noticed that there was a good amount of movement of pieces and parts elsewhere to pull things, and he talked in science speak and tech talk, which I'm not super well versed with yet. We'll get there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get there. Henry, dude, this guy's a genius. That's one thing I'll say about you, buddy. Yeah, got it. And so there is a difference on the internals. Thumbsticks are different. Everything is different. Good for you, Valve. This is truly the second iteration of a very, very awesome piece of hardware. In fact, and here is the final conclusion when it comes to these two pieces, the LCD and the OLED. I personally think that the Steam Deck is the best portable PC as far as usability, user interface, and versatility that exists. Bar none, okay? Bar none. Best version. Is it the most powerful? No, but it doesn't need to be because optimization that exists within that ecosystem is extremely good. And that is something that needs to be taken and heavily considered when looking at pieces of hardware like this. Optimization and user interface. Okay, so we can all the other Lenovo and Ioneo and Asus, whatever, they're just not going to be able to give you that experience because the optimization is great. That was the Steam Deck, the first Steam Deck, LCD. Now with the OLED Steam Deck, you got yourself all of the problems that you thought were problematic. They have not fixed, but they have addressed to some extent. The general thing, buttons feeling a little bit weird, the heat, the sound, the battery life, the true, right? They didn't change where the buttons are because now after using something like the Nitro Deck, which I have hidden somewhere and just put in a box, I am now in awe of the Steam Deck's button placement. When at first I was like, this seems kind of weird. They have addressed it. We all know from people who have owned a Steam Deck that the amount of work that they've done at keeping this thing up to date is in some ways annoying because it feels like every day you're getting a new update. But I know personally that I feel very reassured that in purchasing something like a Steam Deck, I am going to be getting a piece of hardware that is intended to work. And so I think that if you're just wanting to get your feet wet and see if this whole pocket PC situation, it's not a pocket PC, by the way, this thing's massive, but if this whole portable PC thing is really worth your time, potentially getting a last-gen model might do the trick. But if you're someone who's like, I want to play a Steam Deck and continue forward in that world, this new model is what I would consider to be well worth it. And I know I personally am someone who is very, very much so intrigued by the second iteration of the Steam Deck because I felt that there were just shortcomings that existed enough for me not to enjoy my experience fully and feel a little bit apprehensive when it came to investing in that specific ecosystem long term, primarily because I don't have a PC to game on. But since that is all going to change in the next year, here we are. I am excited. It's going to be fun. I liked the Steam Deck. I just never really used it. Too fast, JD. Too fast. But we did it. Guys, let me know what you think. If you want to be a part of this community, Discord, be a part of it. And as always, I am over-caffeinated. This guy is my dog. Happy gaming. Throwing out gang sides. Oh boy. Over the top. Okay, we're good.